All right, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Two Bros, Two Perspective podcast. I'm JJ on this Father's Day edition. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, JJ. This is Steven. Happy Father's Day to all y'all out there.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And still got up early this morning to handle this episode. It was rough. Trust me, it was rough.
Yeah, a little bit. But, once I get up and going, I'm good. So,
Yeah.
Fuck it.
The plan was this morning was I was gonna get up early and work out before the episode. Father's Day workout, but I just couldn't get out of bed until right before this. So I got up this morning, and even though it's Father's Day, I still took care of a little laundry, and still got duties to do.
I still got shit to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Father's Day don't mean there ain't nothing to do. Yeah. I'll be doing laundry today too, maybe, unless Myra says, babe, don't worry about it.
Besides the laundry, what else you got planned today?
Well, nothing really. I mean, Myra asked me what I wanted to eat today. Thought about going out to. I said, you know what I want? You to cook some pancakes, eggs, bacon, potatoes, shit like that. So I just threw it out there. I thought she was gonna say, I'm not trying to get up early on the Sunday, even though it's Father's Day. But nah, she said when I get back, she'll
big breakfast feast.
Yeah, big breakfast feast. Sit back, just chill. I think she wants to go to the in-laws, which I love my father-in-law. Salute, love that man like my own dad. But I don't feel like doing shit.
It's your day, and I think that's what a lot of the like videos and stuff that I saw or people talking about it was. I think even one video was like, I just don't want to be a dad today. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not the fact that you don't want your kids, but just a day off of not having to deal with the stress, the stresses of being a dad or a husband or a provider or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Just men's mental health month type stuff, you know what I mean?
I thought about that and I was like, well, I'm a father. It's Father's Day. I just want to chill at home.
Yeah.
But then I thought about, okay, my father-in-law is a father, and he's the type he probably want to see his kids. So you know what I mean. So every father looks at it different.
Yeah.
So I want to do this. Maybe my father-in-law feels bad because we didn't come by. But
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So I don't want him to feel less special either because we don't go by there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, my in-laws, I love them to death. Don't even look at them like in-laws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would risk my day to make him feel good. And they're 15 minutes up the road. And there's nothing planned, so it's not like we have to be there a certain time.
Not like there's a party or
yeah. So we can slip in, say, say what's up, Happy Father's Day, and get up out of there. So we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, nobody cares about Father's Day. There's nothing planned. No barbecue. Nobody's taking us out to a Father's Day brunch or lunch or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, not like Mother's Day. There's a group text. Hey, what are we doing?
What's funny about that? You're right. It's hard to cut you off, but you're right. There's a group text of what are we doing for mom, blah 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 blah, whatever type stuff. But it was funny because Cynthia, for whatever reason, scheduled her clients. She had a full day on Mother's Day, right? So there was no where do you want to go eat. Of course, we got her flowers and stuff, and I think a couple of the kids got her something, but we couldn't plan anything because she was working.
Hey,
and
that's a good out.
Yeah. So, and then she has today off, Father's Day. So even her clients were like, "What the fuck? You worked Mother's Day, but you're on Father's Day. What the hell? And so it felt good. She's gonna run and get some breakfast and stuff. I think she's gonna get some for her dad and knock that out real quick. And we're going to the baseball game.
Oh, nice.
To the Rangers game later. So, but
it's time of day game, right?
Yeah, I think it's at 2:30. I think.
There you go.
So that's why I knock out laundry real quick, and probably after this get a workout in and
eat and get ready for the game.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we got going on. Like I said, I think we was watching a movie late last night and brought up going to her parents' house, and she was like, so by the way, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like a couple hours till midnight. You know what I mean? That's when I told her I wanted breakfast. But I mean,
I think, and the reason why we're going to the game, of course, she bought them or whatever, but it was Bea's idea.
Oh, there you go.
There's a game on what? There's a game on Father's Day. Let's go. And of course, at first it was a joke. So, well, what did we do for Mother's Day? And I said, you worked.
Right.
I said we couldn't do nothing. I said, bless you said you wanted carne asada, so we grilled out for you. And then then I was like, well, we don't have to, because I didn't really want to do much either,
yeah.
right? And Nicholas and Tony have to work, so they can't go. So it's gonna be us three.
Just your three.
Yeah.
I'll probably be the same way. I wouldn't mind. Be like, okay, Ranger game, cool. That's always a good.
That's like a bucket list, I guess. Father's Day game, I guess.
But I would have been like, if it was a choice, I'd be like, I'd rather just chill at the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I got him, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Like I said, my Sundays, I don't like to do shit.
I think it was Bea's way of going to another game, because she's been asking to go to.
Hey, but that's part of being a father.
Yeah,
so if they ask, we do it.
Try to at least, depend on schedule and stuff like that. So today is like a special edition hat.
Oh, nice.
But you had to buy that ticket.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if she did, and I didn't want to be like, did you buy the special ticket?
It's Father's Day. That's what
I didn't want to do that.
Go, then.
But we got tickets. I think she got them like behind home plate or something. So we got some decent seats. So I didn't want to be like, well, why didn't you get the special edition hat?
So Cynthia handled it since it's Father's Day.
Yeah, she took care of it.
There you go. Well, there you go, man. Sunday games, those are always nice. Get in there early, get out, and still
get some time to that's chill. A good thing too.
Get out, have some dinner or something, or whatever. So, but yeah, man. Like I said, Myra knows my vibes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Isaiah has to work. I know he got me a little present, because when he gets a package, I always ask him, and he always tells me, and I was like, "What'd you get? What the hell did you get today?" He's like, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's my gift. Right, so I'm at least getting one thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, me and Myra would give most of the time cash. I mean, half the time, what do you want? I don't know what I want. You know what I mean? Until I see it. So 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs are coming to town, so I think she's been knowing I want to buy tickets. So I think either she bought them or give me the money for them. Or
they're gonna be together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They'll be rolling in together, which never happened before. So we'll probably check them out, see what's up. But I don't know. I don't care about the presents.
Is that be something Myra would go to?
If I asked her to.
Oh, okay.
If I was like, hey, let's go together. Yeah, well, these days when I put it on, I guess she's old grandma vibes now. She's like, it's too much cussing, too much. But she's been to a 3-6 Mafia concert with me before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all I listen to. So,
yeah,
she gets into it. But, so we'll see. I was thinking about taking Stevie. I don't know if there's an age restriction or something.
Depends on where it is. Where they're going to be at.
Dos Equis?
I don't think there is.
So, and I don't know if it depends on the venue or who's playing.
I think it's more the venue.
The venue. So I think that'd be cool. They're legends, both of them. They've been in the game a long time. So when he's older with his kids, maybe he said, "Man, I want to go see them with my dad."
Yeah,
shit.
That's a cool thing, because I know me and Chris went to a metal concert before he left, and that was a cool experience.
Yeah,
that's why I think he wasn't 18 yet. So I think some venues do all ages event.
Yeah.
I don't think, and this was a big metal show, so I guess you can compare it to a rap concert,
Yeah.
So, but this was in Deep Ellum. I think it's not there anymore, but it was the Bomb Factory.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
So it was like a little venue, stand up, unless you buy this seating tickets. But of course, Chris wanted to do the mosh pit and shit like that. So.
Fuck all that shit.
That's what I was like. I was thinking about it, but I was like, nah, fuck that,
Yeah, I gotta even looking at those tickets. I was looking at seats. They got the lawn out cheap. I gotta be able to sit down.
No, you don't want the lawn, especially depending on what month it is. It gets hot out there.
Yeah.
Or it might rain. We've been to a concert there in the rain, and good thing we were underneath the thing.
So, but regardless where I look, like House of Blues, they got down on the floor. They got the.
Yeah.
I gotta be able to sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. Cause Gabriel, he hit me up, so I told him maybe we'll find some seats together and shit. So.
Just buy them all and then just go half or whatever,
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But they just started selling tickets, so maybe that's gonna be my Father's Day present.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm done buying concert tickets, but then something else comes up. I think Bayan was talking about Morgan Wallen in Houston. I said, well, if y'all buy them, then I'll take y'all down there and I'll chill while y'all go to the concert. I'm done buying. I say it, but then something else comes up.
Yeah. Well, I'm not big on concerts these days, spending all that money. Like I always say, there's a few I go to, and I grew up on shit, Bone Thugs and 3 6 since I was in fucking school. So
Yeah,
kids pretty much grew up to it too. So for
yeah,
them to be able to
yeah,
see it,
for
Stevie be
sure.
able to see it live, that'd be pretty cool. So we'll see what else they got planned. I don't know, uh, but it is what it is. Fathers gets no love, you know what I mean. So
To an extent, to an
what,
extent.
what, what do you think
Bea
about
hooked it up.
fatherhood, man? How's fatherhood been for you? You've been a father what 20,
23 years now.
23 years?
Yeah, I think I think it started rough, right? I think because of the way that we were brought up and my way of thinking how to raise kids was, right?
Yeah.
So it was do this, and whatever. And then Cynthia changed it around on me, and I think not so strict, I guess you would say. I would say I'm a good dad. I think so.
I think you are.
I think that I listen to the kids, listen to their point of views and what they're thinking, and I don't compare each and every one of them to each other. And I know that they're all separate in their own way, right?
Yeah, for
Except for
sure.
Chris and Bea, they're the total same. They're the same people,
For real.
same, right? And we
That's
make fun
funny.
of that, but um, they're all different in their own way, right? So you don't I've never compared them. Well, Chris did this or
Yeah,
Tony did
yeah,
this, and why can't you? No, I don't do that. And I let them have their own views, right?
yep.
I feed them what I can, but I don't push what I believe, or let's just even example, it's my type of music or my way of thinking or the way I grew up on them, right? I let them see the world in their own eyes, and I guide them on what they're thinking
Yeah,
to an
yeah,
extent to where like, no, that's not how you're supposed to think. Oh, explain what you mean. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So I think that I tell Cindy all the time, we've been lucky, like we have good kids. And people have said certain things to us because of the businesses and stuff like that. Well, we've been called absent parents. I'm like, what do you mean absent parents? No,
Yeah.
they were with us at the store.
Hell
We
yeah,
were
they had the couch and the
until they
games.
were a little bit older, they didn't stay home by themselves, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say who said this or whatever, but absent parents, like, motherfucker, your kids are bad, you know? Like, but ours, we've been lucky. Like, and I think we have some do with it. I'm not gonna say myself, but I'm gonna say, me and Cynthia have some do with that. But I think a father's way is different, right?
Than a mother's.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure, especially raising boys, and you know that. They need to be responsible and way of thinking and things like that from their father's point of view, but at the same time, their own people.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's what I've instilled is that you're your own person, right? You have your own way of thinking. And I'll listen to it. I won't put you down or you think a certain way or you feel a certain way or blah blah. Like I'll listen and we'll discuss it.
work through it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Come to a meeting.
And I feel like they can come to me for anything, like, anything, any topic, any subject,
Yeah,
any problem, whatever, and we'll work it out.
yeah, and that's something that builds up through not being judgmental. You know
Exactly,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
So
Especially your kids.
yeah, yeah, they're not afraid to come to you. I mean, I'm the same way, kind of. Like you, I was trying to. I mean, I don't think we had a bad childhood. We had a stepdad which raised us. We didn't know our real dad.
Right.
Um, at times, I mean, I don't ever felt. I don't think very much. I felt like the step kid. You know what I mean? I think he showed us love as a more than a normal stepdad would. But there was times, you know. But anyways, kind of like you said, I just wanted to be opposite. As I grew older and had kids myself, I realized a lot of the shit that how we were raised wasn't. Not that it wasn't right. Not that it wasn't made us bad people. I think we both turned out pretty good, but just weren't I would say attributes. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
I know
Just
what you're
not
talking
how I
about.
want it to be with my kids.
Right.
Which is like you said, the respect. You know what I mean? I know our dad would. We've had a few falling outs where he said, the parents don't have to respect the kids, but the kids have to respect the parents. And
Yeah.
and crazy enough, that's something that's stuck in my head from when he told me that to when I became a father, and I was like, no, I've always been big on respect, and respect is earned. It goes both ways, whether you're a fucking kid or you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So I've always respected my kids, just like you said, listen to them.
Hmm.
Just because I'm the dad, I didn't think I was always right. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So, and like you said, each kid is different. I mean, there's no manual, and it's not like from your first kid you can learn from your second kids. There's things, but
Yeah.
all my four boys are all different.
Uh
It's
huh.
funny. I tell my all the time, I was like, damn, they all have traits of me in them, but they're all different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So, but like you said, as a father, you try to teach them to be young men, responsible, and I tell my man, they probably get tired. I text all four of them all the time, and I mean probably every day almost. Ask them how their day was, and I always tell them I love them always. And that's
Yeah.
one thing I don't remember us being told by our dad. Hey man, I
Hmm.
love you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I want them to know that I express that, and it's okay to express that as a father. Father doesn't have to be you have to be scared of your dad, the disciplinarian. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm like you. They talk to me. They tell me. I feel like they come to me for whatever issues they got because you've earned that trust. A kid, they're learning too, but I mean, they're people. You know what I mean? And they got their shit going on in their head. So
Yeah.
how
For sure.
how can you tell them they're wrong?
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to, but like you said, you get their point of view, you get your point of view, and
Then you just guide them.
come to a meeting, and
Hmm.
that's all you can do
Hmm.
is guide them, get them good advice, and hopefully they take it out there to the real world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I love being a dad, man. Off nothing but boys. You got a girl. I wish I would have had a girl because I know that's a different dynamic.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Because and then, like you said, a father and a mother is different. Like Stevie, I do man. Stevie's like my road dog, everything for him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And those that know me and my story with my kids, they're not all from Myra, but he's the only one that I've raised. And I've raised all my kids. I don't like the word baby daddy, but even with my other two kids that are not with Myra, my wife, I was always at the award ceremonies, the baseball games, the practices. I wasn't just a fucking weekend dad, you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
Stevie is the only one that I've been with and raised since birth. You
Uh
know what I
huh.
mean? That's been in my household basically.
Without interruption.
Yeah, without any
Hmm.
any
Back and forth or
interruptions.
whatever.
And we do everything, take him to practice, even when I'm tired, everything. So he's going out Friday with some friends, and we're picking him up and taking him to the bowling alley. And Mars like, I said, all right, I'll get ready. I'll go. She's like, he don't want you to go. Like, what? He don't want me to go? What the fuck? That's my dog. What's up?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. And I guess and when we were going, I guess I see why, because I'm talking to his friends. You know what I mean? And Meyer just drives like the chauffeur,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
Oh, they're in the back seat
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
And I'm
Okay.
like, hey, what's up? Well, they're real respectable
Yeah.
kids. As
Yeah.
soon as they
Yeah.
got in, they're like, hey, thank you for picking
Yeah.
us up, sir. Real good kids. And I'm like, so what y'all into, man? Y'all do sports too? Just chopping it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get to know your kids' friends. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
For
saying?
sure. And you're doing it maybe subconsciously, but in the back of your head, you're getting information to see
Yeah,
who's my son hanging out with.
exactly.
Hmm.
And but to Stevie, he's like, oh no, Dad, he's gonna be talking, and for him, I guess it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I'm asking him, hey, do they know your cousin? Do they know your baseball team? Because they all go to the same school. And
Yeah.
so maybe that's the thing. But I was like, what the fuck you mean you don't want me to go there? He ain't going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we took advantage. There's a big movie theater, bowling alley, arcade shit over there in Waxahachie. And we were talking about, you know what? Fuck it. While we take them, instead of driving way over there back, we'll go have some drinks
Yeah.
and eat a little bit. And we
At the
found this.
bowling alley spot or somewhere
No,
else?
no, that's the last thing he want to see us at the bar. But I told Michael, well, hell, he probably won't even see us. But run into him in the restroom or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Hey, what the fuck you doing here, Dad?
Right.
Now she found this little spot. I don't know. You call it like a pub,
Hmm.
like England
Yeah.
slash.
I like those
They had
kind of
like
spots.
shepherd's pie and shit.
Fish and chips.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
shit
like
like
that type
that.
of stuff.
And she was like, she just pulled it up. She didn't want to go to Chili's. It was called College something. I don't know. But we pulled up nice little spot, you know what I mean? Like intimate. You could tell the bartenders knew the people at the bar and shit, you know. And it was pretty good. It was dark. I don't know if it's I'm getting old, my eyes, my diabetes, or what. But I'm like, fuck. I'm always having to put my flashlight on
Damn.
the menus now. But I need to go to the doctor for my eyes, anyways. But it was good. You know, we had some drinks and. It was everything was good, man. I don't want to go back to complaining about shit, but food was good, beer was good, atmosphere was good, and we're finishing up having a beer. And there's a cat. They let the cat in, and then all the waitress staff knows the cat. And they're picking the
Oh, I
cat
hate
up,
cats. Yeah,
and I hate cats, period. But
I do
even if there
too.
was a dog, I love dogs. I'm like, oh,
They don't belong in the restaurant.
exactly. So
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I told my she goes, oh my god, here we go.
yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, it's right there. I'm eating. First of
Yeah,
all, I don't like cats. Second of
yeah,
all, it's an animal
yeah.
inside. The waitresses and shit are picking her up, the cat up, and I don't know if it's a boy. I always think cats are all girls. I don't know. And I'm like, are they washing their hands? Well, luckily, we
Yeah,
had already eaten. Had we
yeah.
not already eaten, I probably would have walked
Yeah,
away.
that would have bugged me too.
You
That's not
know?
really a complaint. That's more of a standard, I think. You don't. That's why when they have a dog friendly place, normally it's the patio.
Yeah.
You don't.
Well, they had a patio there, and I think that's where they let the cat in from.
But I could see type of places like, oh, it's the the business cat that comes
Yeah.
in, and I just don't. I know
No,
what you
and then I
mean.
thought about it because I didn't know there was a patio. I said, so that thing's probably just roaming. I mean, I picture being out on the patio, or even there, like if the cat would have jumped on my lap.
Oh
Oh, that's
hell
Miss
no!
Wiggles.
Fuck
Oh,
that!
Oh, I
I would have
promise you.
left. I would
Uh,
have said, you know what? Did you pay already?
no, I mean, I would have grabbed that
Well,
fucking cat and threw it at the ball.
you ate already, so I mean,
That's why I didn't
you're
make a
gonna
big deal
pay. You're
about
gonna
it.
pay whether you ate or because you ate, but
Yeah,
it happened after the fact, and you probably just wouldn't go back.
yeah, yeah. I would like to go back with that cat, and when I see that set, I go, oh my god, Mar, look at that. And it's a black cat. It's got a collar and whatever. Oh, Mrs. Wiggles. I don't know what the cat's name was. I just
Whatever,
picture
yeah.
Mr. Wiggles, and they start picking him up. They sit him on the chair at the bar and
Nah, fuck
shit.
that.
And I'm like,
We
and for me, I don't know if I'm scared of cats or I got a phobia, but I don't even like. I don't know if you remember. You probably don't. I lived with you in California. We went to somebody's house and they had a cat, and like it was walking on the couch. Like I don't want to be in any type of area with cats.
I don't like cats.
Like they freak me out.
We were talking about it yesterday because Chris has a cat, or in
Ugh.
Cali, and Nick came back. He's like, "We should get a cat." I said, "No, we ain't getting a cat." Even Cynthia was like, "We're not getting a cat." Why not? Because they just climb over everything. They're on the counters and you can get hair in your food and blah blah. I just don't like cats.
I mean, I don't think animals belong inside. I mean, like dogs. Like I love dogs. Like okay, dog comes in, whatever, now, but it belongs outside. I mean, you got to think about it. And I'm gonna be stereotype on my white friends. I'll tell them to y'all too. The white people and Mexicans, blacks, whatever. But white people, sleeping in the bed with their
No,
dogs,
I
and
never
I
done
mean, they're
that.
rubbing their nuts and shit and their assholes all over your stuff. I mean, I don't see how they don't see that. You know what I mean?
I
I
never
mean,
liked the dog in the bed before.
but I mean, even on the couch, dog sitting on the couch. Well, dog don't wear underwear, so you got the butthole just directly on your couch and
Yeah,
fucking nuts and
like we have two dogs, a boxer and a um terrier dog. Like that, my dog Skip. That's what she is. And if it was just a boxer, he'd be inside all the time
yeah,
because all he does is lay down,
yeah.
right? The other dog, she gets crazy and she makes him crazy. So we're just like,
He
put
makes
him
it.
outside. But Bruno, the boxer, like all he does wants to do is if he's inside, he knows that, oh shit, I'm not gonna fuck this up.
Yeah, because I don't want
Right?
to go back
I'm gonna lay down
outside.
and I'm gonna shut up and I'm just gonna stay here. That's the boxers we had in the past, they've always been that way. Of course, as puppies, they're hyper and all
Yeah, yeah,
that. But when they're inside, they're like, shit, I'm not gonna mess this up.
yeah.
Even when Bruno was a puppy, in the morning he knew he had to go outside. And it was funny because he would open one eye and look at me and act asleep. It was funny to me, like
Yeah.
And he'd like follow, his head would follow me like this. Like, is it time to go outside? Is it time to go outside? Fuck. He saw my eye open, you know?
Yeah.
And it was funny because and I said, all right, let's go. So he'd jump up and, some resistance a little bit, but then I kick his ass outside to go restroom. And Rocky, our boxer back when before we had kids, he was the same way. Like, of course, he got crazy a little bit, but then when he calmed down, he just boom, flopped down on the floor. All the slobber be on the floor, but he wouldn't mess with you.
Yeah.
Oh, but Rocky, that little dog, man, that dog. Man.
I spent a whole trip in the back seat with Rocky from fucking California, Texas. Since we hit the freeway, we're like, fucking throwing up on me and shit. Like, man, get the fucking dog, man.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time with Rocky, 24 hours fucking driving from California to Texas, throwing up the whole time. But yeah, Rocky was a cool dog. You could hear him fucking snoring from outside.
Yeah, that dog can snore, but
I mean, if you got an inside dog, like I love dogs, and it's funny. I got a story we were just talking about it, but have a blanket or something for your couch. Yeah. That's how I look at them. Like, man, the dog goes outside, they might like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't like dogs on the sofa or anything like that. I've never liked that. Just they like to an extent, and the kids make fun of me or say something when, well, it's cold outside. Well, he's a dog. You know what I mean? Like, he has a dog house. Fur. He has a dog house. It's raining. I said, well, he has a porch and he has a doghouse. If he's smart, he'll go in the damn doghouse. We're not home, so we don't let them inside when we're not home because they're getting the trash or use the restroom in the house or whatever.
I just think animals belong outside
to an extent.
Now, if you got a dog you love, come on in there. We'll sit down while you watch the football game or whatever, a movie, and you can just pet and he's chilling. Yeah. That's one thing, but I've seen videos and motherfuckers get out from under the covers and the dog's under the cover with them. And,
no, I don't do that.
And I wear a lot of black. Meyer wears a lot of black, so just the hair and shit like that. But so we got in this conversation. We had, who was it? Guy at work was taking his dog to the vet.
Mm-hmm.
He took the day off because he didn't know if his dog was gonna make it and this and that. And we got in a conversation, and I was like, what the fuck is that? I mean,
does he have kids?
He's an older guy, so he's got kids, he's got grandkids, he's got a I don't know, I wouldn't say big family, but I just don't get the treating your animal. Mostly you see dogs, like, of course they're part of the family. I get that part, but I'm like, if my dog needs to go to the vet, there's no way I'm spending $2,000-$3,000 for a dog, man.
It depends.
I don't know. He's like, well, what would you do, Steve?
And here's the determining factor. That's why I asked if he has kids. When you take that dog to the vet and the kids see the dog leave sick, you do everything you can to come home with that dog. Trust me.
Okay.
I've been in two situations. Two situations that's happened. Like, you don't come home without that dog. Bruno, both of these damn dogs, I swear. And this is why I hate this little dog. She used to get out all the time, right? And I was like, fuck, we get home and she's not here and she just roams the fucking street. She's a smart dog, right?
Yeah.
I forget, whatever my dog Skip is, whatever terrier that is, but Jack Russell, they're smart dogs. She digs the fuck out the yard, but anyways, she used to get out. And we always say she's gonna get lost, and she gets lost. Fuck it, she's gone. Whatever.
Fuck it, she's gone.
Right. I think because at the time we were more attached to Bruno, and she got out one day. Oh, we got home one day, and normally they come to the fence like when you come over. But she was like really slow, right? And then Tony's really attentive to the dog, and Tony comes around. He's like, Dad, come look. And I go look, and she has black blood all over her chest. I'm like, what the fuck? And I said, take her inside and try to wash her off. And I look at Bruno's face, and it wasn't Bruno. Bruno would be all bloody in his face if he attacked her. I was like, what happened? And so he's cleaning her, but she's quiet. She's not crying. She's not nothing. It was crazy. And she had these puncture wounds in her stomach. I was like, what the fuck? What happened? I go back, look at Bruno, and like, she must have got out or something, so fucking get her in the blanket, run her to the vet. And she's really quiet, but we couldn't really look because it was all bloody and stuff. Yeah. And so we take her to the vet and they go look at her. She had something attacked her, right? There's dogs around here. There's even coyotes, but it was during the daytime, so I doubt it was a coyote. But the vet's like, we have to clean her up and we have to open her up to see if there's any damage inside. And since she's not spayed, we'll go ahead and spade her, right? And okay, well, what's this gonna cost? And they're like, just leave 6,000 down, and whatever we don't use, we'll give it back.
What's the dog's name?
This one, Sugar.
I'll be like,
and so we're like,
nice knowing you, Sugar.
they were like 6,000 down, and Tony's there, right? Tony's there with me, and Tony's frugal type of dude, right? He's like, what? And then I said, I can't come. This is Bea's dog, right?
Yeah.
I told Tony, I can't come home without this dog. This is your sister's dog.
For $6,000, you can come home with another
it's
dog.
up to 6,000, right? And then they'll refund me the money, right?
No.
So
see, that's where me and my coworkers. Go ahead.
So we're like, fuck it. And then Tony's like, not stressing, but concerned about what it's gonna cost.
Well,
yeah,
that's good. He's smart.
He thinks that way, right?
Good.
And so he's feeling a certain type of way.
So he's not even worried about the dog.
He is worried about the dog.
More worried.
Yeah. So then he's just sitting there feeling a certain type of way while we're waiting.
I can see Tony just like that too.
This dog comes in with the fucking eye hanging out, right? Something he got out the fence too, probably, and the eye's fucking hanging out. And Tony looks at the dog. He's like, "Why are dogs so stupid?"
Hey,
right?
Hell yeah.
So he's like, "Why are dogs?" And I think because he's worried about the dog, and he's here $6,000, right?
Yeah, like if you wouldn't be stupid, you wouldn't be hurt. We wouldn't be here paying this money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was a whole thing, and so she got spayed or whatever, and it wasn't as much. It wasn't six. It was pretty close, but it wasn't $6,000. But the thing is, you can't come home without the dog.
Shit.
I remember we had a dog, and that kid didn't come home with it one time.
I'd be telling my kids, you know what? I can't afford this shit.
It's tough. It's tough.
That's a girl, so maybe.
And then Bruno, he got sick, right? And boxers get cancer. Okay. That's what happened to Rocky. Rocky got cancer, he died. And Bruno's 10 years old. And boxers live.
Man, I was just looking at him and I was thinking,
he's like, oh man.
No, but I was thinking he still looks like a pup. His face, unless I'm missing some gray whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that, but he's got a young face.
Yeah, and
damn,
boxers live 8 to 12.
And Rocky was big. He's not that big either.
Rocky was a little bit bigger than him, but Rocky lived to 8.
Damn. OG, bro. Rest in peace, Rocky, man.
So Bruno, same thing. He didn't get out, but he got sick, and fucking Tony had been saying, something's not right with him. I said, well, watch him, feed him, let me know.
Yeah.
And I come home one day and his fucking balls are like fucking softballs. Like, what the fuck? I said, Tony, why didn't you say anything? He's like, it just happened.
Yeah.
Brought him to the vet. Motherfucker has cancer in his testicles. But they're like, well, we can do we'll remove him, plus it neuters him same time, and we'll do a biopsy. I said, why you gotta do a biopsy if you already know what it is? It's cancer. Like, okay, we won't do the biopsy.
But how would they make more?
It was gonna be like fucking $9,000 at the beginning, right? I said, well, don't do the biopsy because it's cancer. I said, if you chop off the balls, you think that'll take care of it? Yeah, it looks like it. That's all it is. Okay, we can do a scan to see if it's. I said, no.
Motherfucker, just take care of what you already diagnosed.
I said, do that. And fucking take off the cancer and just kind of examine him, and we'll watch him and neuter him at the same time and blah blah. So it wasn't as much as Sugar, but it was still high. And the same thing, Bruno's a family dog.
Yeah.
Because he's been here since we moved in this house.
Now, does the family go out and play with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's Bruno, right? We get home and Bruno's fucking right there.
He's a staple.
So you can't not come home with these dogs. So
but sooner or later you have to. So why not just do it when it's gonna cost you $8,000? He's gonna go.
Like Rocky died at the house, right? Yeah. We got home and we couldn't find him, and Okay, let me give this.
Well, maybe,
hold on.
Maybe
No.
Bruno needs to die.
Let me see this example. Let me show you. Let me tell you why. So we got home one day and we knew Rocky was sick. So we get home. Chris was probably 4 years old, 5 years old, and Chris grew up with Rocky because we had Rocky before Chris.
Yeah.
And Anthony was little too, but Anthony probably doesn't remember. But we get home, and usually we would get home, open the gate, and Rocky would jump on the porch and sit there. He would sit on the porch till we close the gate. And we get home, there's no Rocky. And we knew he was sick, like I said. And then it's like, shit, where's the dog? And we could pull in, and even Chris was looking for the dog. And I go around, and I saw him under the house. He died. He was under the house. Like, shit, what would I tell this boy? So I told Cynthia, and she's like, what are you going to say? I said, I'm not sure yet. So Chris is Rocky. And I said, I think he ran away. Like, no, because he knew Rocky doesn't get out.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we open the gate, and the fool sits on the porch till the gate closes. He knew, as a little kid, he knew Rocky doesn't get out.
Yeah.
And there's another story about that.
He knew Rocky wasn't a stupid dog.
Yeah, well, he was stupid, but that's another story too.
He was stupid.
But he didn't get out the gate was the main thing. So he started crying his eyes out because Rocky ran away. Let's go find him. And I couldn't calm him down. And I told Cynthia, I said, we just had to tell him, right? And I pulled him aside. I said, look, he didn't run away. I said, he died. He was sick. And I said, do you want to see him? And that calmed him down. His dog didn't run away.
Yeah.
Because that broke his heart more than the dog dying.
It probably thought too, like, why would Rocky leave me type shit.
So you don't come home without the dog. That's the key thing.
But you're going to have to sooner or later.
But then they know, right? They know that he's sick and he's going to die. And that's why you prepare them with like My Dog Skip and Marley and Me and those type of movies because they're going to die.
Well, maybe if they said $8,000, I'll be like, okay, we're going to come home and the dog died.
I mean, if you can't, I always say you have to come home with the dog. I always say that. But yeah, if we were strapped, and fortunately at the time we could do it, but if we couldn't, then you have that hard conversation with the kids.
Even at that, I don't know. I mean, it's like, man, I'm not going to spend. This guy's going to die anyways. He's not going to live forever. So, yeah.
No, they're not.
I just couldn't do it. And my coworker was like, well, and he brought up your kids. What the fuck you going to do if Stevie's crying about this? I said, well, fuck, I'll take it to the vet. Well, no, what I did say, I hope for any PETA animal lovers out there, no offense, but he was like, so what would you do? I go, well, I'll take it to the vet, get rid of it the most humane way I can, and I'm not one of those dump them on the freeway type shit, nothing like that, and come home with a fish.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Be like, no, this is what I left with. What are you talking about? What dog?
Yeah.
But just got to explain to him, look, and I would be brutally honest with him and say, look, I ain't spending $6,000 on this freaking dog. You know what I mean? $6,000, we'll go pick you out a new dog. You know what I mean? But he's like, well, the guy I was fucking with him, his dog passed away. He cremated it. He got like the ashes hanging from his fucking rearview mirror type shit. So we always fuck with each other. So he was like, what would you do? What would you do? I said, man, put a fucking bullet in his head and drop it on the fucking street. He goes, oh, yeah, I hope somebody puts a bullet in your head and drops you in the street. I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
But no, and what I try to explain, I said, no, I love dogs. I don't mistreat dogs. I just don't see them.
Part of the family type.
Well, no, part of the family, yeah, but as
a dog.
An equal to a human to spend that money. We had one dog named Roscoe. Love that freaking dog. I always had pit bulls. Myra loved that. Almost like a family dog too, you know what I mean? And we gave him whatever first, I always bought my pit bulls off the streets, and gave him. I wouldn't even take him to the vet for shots. They'd be like, "Hey, you can go buy the shots here, give them to yourself," type shit. And he got parvo, and took him to the vet, and they were like, "Yeah, we can put him in the ER." I'm like, "Fuck ER for dogs? It's gonna cost same shit. It's gonna cost this much." I said, "Look. I got two options. I'm either we're gonna let y'all kill this dog, or what do you call it?
Put him to sleep.
Put him to sleep. Or is there anything that I can do at home to try to help him out?" And she said, "Well, he's not eating, what you can do is get sugar water and rub it on his gums. So I took him home. I was like, well, I'm not leaving my dog. I love that dog too. Everybody loved that dog. I'm not putting him in no dog. They said it can be up to 1,000 a
Yeah,
day. We don't know how many days. I'm like, yeah,
right.
even one day, I
Yeah.
ain't doing it. So we go home and man, he was like, he was so sick. He would fucking, I would know he was alive just by his eyes moving. Like, okay, I'll take care of him. We let him in the house. Even Maya was like, no, he's coming inside. We love the shit out that dog. She was cleaning up his throw up, everything. And we kept doing that sugar water, get a syringe, squirt it down his throat. And man, that motherfucker lived, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we nursed him back to life for whatever sugar water costs, water and a little bit of sugar. It could have been thousands of dollars. And man, the motherfucker was a champ. He lost some weight. His eating wasn't the same as it used to be, but he lived. I don't even remember what happened, but I don't know. You remember you gave me a boxer one time when we were staying renting that little spot out. It was a female, that little spot from your mother-in-law right there on 12th Street.
Mm-hmm. And
that little fucking whore kept getting got pregnant by a stray, and yeah, that dog didn't make it. Because I'm like, I ain't taking care of a bunch of puppies. You know, if they were full blooded, maybe. You know what I mean? And I just can't do it, man. But I love dogs, and I see man's best friend.
Yeah.
Stevie's been wanting a dog, but I know they ain't gonna take care of it. That's my big deal. And that's another thing, attachment. If it gets, I love dogs, but I just don't see him as equal.
Yeah, after these two, we're done because the kids are older. I think I always thought you kids should have a dog, right? There should be a dog in the house. Responsibility, like you said, man's best friend, companion type thing. But now that they're older, once these are gone, however they go, whatever. But I don't think I'm gonna get another dog. Cynthia might get a little Chihuahua or something, but that'll be her dog. But dogs to take care of, no more.
Yeah, once we got, Josh, he's got a fucking weenie dog, and then he's got two French bulldogs. But Stevie, in my household, I don't think my kids, besides Roscoe, Isaiah was around when Roscoe was there, but Stevie's never. And I kind of felt bad because he's always like, I want a dog, but I know his habits, and he ain't gonna be,
Well, he's busy too.
He won't be out there, and I don't want to be the one picking up shit, being responsible for it. I got enough shit.
Right.
And then at the same time, I don't want to get attached to it because I don't want to have to let it die if I get a $3,000 vet bill. You know what I'm saying? So, but I love dogs. I've always loved dogs. I had lots of dogs, and my buddy was like thinking I was just like cruelty to animals type guy. I was like, no, man, I love dogs. I don't mistreat them. Now, cats, I hate cats.
I think when it's time for Bruno, it's gonna be tough because with Rocky it was just Chris and Tony was a baby. But this has been the family dog when they're all the kids.
Yeah, it's even gonna affect Chris.
Yeah, for sure.
Cali, you know what I mean?
So it'll be tough, and I think that they'll be ready for it because he's older, and we know like he's probably, like I said, boxers. Their lifespan is 8 to 12 years because of fucking cancer. But maybe he got his cancer out the way. Who knows?
Yeah, and live another how many more years?
Who knows? That? Yeah, maybe more than 12.
And that's part of fatherhood too, man. You got to take care of that bullshit.
You have
a dog, I mean? Little shit like that.
You get kids want a dog. Okay, I'll get your dog. Guess what? You're the one taking them outside at 2 a.m. and shit. The dog doesn't want to come back inside. You trying to go back sleep, and this dog want to fucking jump around and play. When they're puppies, and it's like, bro, it's 2 a.m. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's another thing about having an inside dog or having a dog is the 2 o'clock. I ain't getting up at 2 o'clock.
You have to, or you're gonna clean up shit in the morning.
No, that's what I'm saying. Inside, having them inside, dealing with that bullshit. So, who knows? What do y'all think? Dogs, cats, are dogs part of the family to where you put them in the hospital for 2, 3, 5? Well, in this case,
I'm gonna say 80% will say yes.
Think so?
I think so. 80% would say yes. Partly because of the kids, and partly because it's probably. I think people get, and like I said, 98% of our viewers are men. They get dogs for themselves, right? Let's say the kids are gone, and now you can get the dog you always wanted, right? Whether German Shepherd or fucking whatever dog it is that you've always wanted, but it wasn't probably good to have it for kids or whatever. But I think. Partly they do that.
Makes sense.
Old man's dog.
Makes sense. I doubt.
Or the kids leave and you're stuck with the dog, so that becomes your homie. You know what I mean?
I know several people that got stuck with their kids' dogs. Went off to college, said they
That's
wanted
what I mean.
dog,
Yeah,
and then they get stuck with the dog.
Yeah, and you get attached.
I
have a friend his wife got a dog, and she didn't want it no more, so it became his dog. And then she wanted to get rid. He's like, "No, this is my dog now. I'm attached to this fucking dog. You're not getting rid of him now."
Yeah.
So this shit type happened.
Right? Yeah, I guess so. I can see both sides. You know what I'm saying? I got enough humans to take care of. If it was just dog food.
Right, I see fucking videos or memes or whatever. It says when you're on your last fucking dollar, in the bank or something, you're struggling, and the fucking dog needs dog food.
see what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I love dogs. I just don't see them as equals.
Yeah, I get it because in the way, like I've said in the past, like leave him outside. He's a dog. Well, it's cold outside. We're at work. Yeah. What are you gonna do? He needs to be outside.
And I was pissing the guy off. He goes, no. I go, they're fucking animals. They don't even have brains and hearts. They're just fucking bones. And he goes, what do you mean you don't have a fucking brain?
You're just fucking with him.
Yeah. He flies off the handle really easy anyway, so he was getting all pissed off. I was telling him, chill out, man. I'm just fucking with you. But, his kid's older. He's not married, so I could see how your dog can,
That's your homie at the end,
But at the same time, it's like, it's a dog. You gotta have some real homies, some human homies. Your dog can't be your best friend. Where
it can be because you get home and they're fucking happy to see your ass. You know what I mean? You get home and jumping around and happy, and sometimes you get home and the world's mad at you. Like you talk about sons and daughters. A daughter will break a dad's heart easy just by her attitude.
Yeah,
like for real. Like when her hormones started and shit, like. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I didn't do nothing to you. I just said, how was your day? Like, shit.
But maybe the closest I have that is Stevie, because he be that same way and shit.
Moody.
I'd be like, what's up, man? What's going on? So, I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, just like Friday when I was like, what? He don't want me to go with him to pick up his friends? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But when he needs something or something, it's me he's going to call. So fatherhood, I think fathers are very underappreciated. Sometimes not in a bad way, not intentionally way. Sometimes it's in a funny way. Like
I know what you mean because it's just what we do, right? It's kind of like you. That's your normal day to day.
But we got boys, and I can speak for mine. I don't know about yours, but they're fucking mama's boys. All four of them. You know what I mean? Like I always said, like Maya could be right there talking shit. You sorry, motherfucker. Not that happened.
Right, I get
ever. She ain't never called me that. Yeah. You motherfucker, this, that, and the kids are just eating, watching TV. I could say, man, shut up. Yeah. You talking to my mama like that? Hey, motherfucker, your mama.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but Bea takes up for me.
That's what I'm saying. Right? Girls are daddy's girls.
And there's been times when the boys have also, but it's funny because one thing that she'll bring up, like when I'm driving, oh my God, and then Bea will be like, Mom, you're always on your phone when you drive. Or Nicholas will say, you don't even use your signal. So they'll call her out on stuff.
Oh, using the signal. That me up.
It's funny because, Bea usually takes my side.
Yeah.
And yesterday they ganged up on me and I said, hey, what are you doing? She's like, what do you mean? I said, you're supposed to be on my side. What are you doing? Why you take your mouth? But they have their bond. But you're right. They're somewhat mama's boys, but it's cool because we have our separate bond than what they have with their mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a cool thing.
Like Stevie, he'll go out, see him going in and out the room talking to Mara. So I'm like, what are they talking about? Why am I not involved in these conversations? But I think it comes from, I don't know, maybe, and I try to teach my kids, as a dad, as the man, as the husband, the father, whatever, just, I don't know. I think they see it as mom needs me more than my dad. Not in a loving way, but my dad is the strong. He's the protector. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I try to teach them to be that way as well. And people can say, "Oh, it's 20. What are we? 2025." it's equal. But in my eyes, I'm old school. The man is the protector, and I try to teach my boys, man up. I don't want to hear no crying. You're charged fucking. What are you calling in for? Get your ass to fucking work.
Yeah, like Nicholas, he came home. He came home Friday, and he worked Saturday and Sunday at my mother-in-law's restaurant. And this fool was like, I said, "You're gonna work tomorrow." Cause he's broke. He spent all his money in Cali or whatever. So he said, "No, I'm gonna take Saturday off." I said, "Why?"
Come
He
back
said
when?
he came back Friday.
What time?
I picked him up at 2:30 from the
Okay,
airport.
afternoon.
Yeah. So he's like, I said, "Why?" He said, "I need some me time." I said, "Bro, you just got back from 3 weeks in Cali. What do you mean you need me time?" Well, I need to put up my clothes, and I said, "You have all day Friday afternoon to do it." This fool didn't go to work yesterday.
I know, man. Sometimes I like Isaiah. Now he's better now because now he's got bills, so he
Yeah.
don't miss work. But before, I'd hear him walking in the kitchen. I'd be like, motherfucker. I told my he's already starting it, so he can call in tomorrow. And then in the morning, I'm listening, like, okay, is this motherfucker getting up? And I'm always up early, so I'll hear him from the room. He talks loud, and yeah, I don't think I'm gonna. I'm over there getting pissed off. Man. Like, I ain't gonna make it in today. Then he gets up and starts making breakfast, and then I hear him on his gate. I just, I mean, the viewers should know. I don't fucking miss work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
There's been times where my back's been hurting me so bad that like I'm struggling to get up, but I just like, work ethic. You're the man. Go to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
miss work. Don't call in. And I'm big like, when you call in, you leaving other people to do your freaking job.
Yeah.
Then he'll complain, man, so and so called in today. I'm like, well, how do you think they feel?
Yeah.
He's moving tonight, so man, he requested to go overnight.
Where's he work?
Whataburger.
So so he didn't work. What's the shift?
10 to 6.
Oh,
He chose it.
Yeah.
He's got a boy that he trained with that work moved tonight, so he's like, man, it'll be cool.
I remember I did that at Burger King, the 11 to 7 shift.
So we'll see how I don't know. We'll see how it goes for him.
Yeah.
I said it's not easy. I mean, I've switched with my job hours from fucking 7 to 3:30 to 8 to 6 in the morning to 12 to 8. And I told him it's not gonna be an easy adjustment. You know what I mean? So prepare yourself. Start staying up late right now so you can sleep during the day type shit.
Yeah.
But that's what as a father, I got 4 boys, and it's crazy. Just like two bros, two perspective. Our kids are totally different as well. And
Yeah.
my kids, they're all good kids. Me and Mara were talking when we were drinking Friday. How it was rough, but all the boys are doing well. And real proud of all my boys. Always been there for them, and they're a little bit. They some wild boys. They got their daddy in them, and they went to junior high and high school. Some of them in Oak Cliff. I think it's just the atmosphere. You know what I mean? And they're not bad kids, but my kids are hood kids. You know what I mean? And we've been through some shit. But I love being a father. I'm proud of all 4 of them. Shout out Isaiah, Joshua, Nathan, Stevie. You know what I mean? Good kids. There's times I'm like, fuck, I can't wait to. Everybody's gone doing their own shit. You know what I mean? But there's days that I look back and I'm like, fuck, that shit's.
We talked about that too because, like the way we've looked at it, Tony's wanted to move out a while back.
Yeah, I remember.
And we just told him why. Why are you gonna move out? You don't pay shit here. Save your money. Don't struggle, right? Don't worry about paying rent. Don't worry about that you need groceries. Just stay here, right? We even kind of made his room so he had to share with Nicholas or whatever. Because he does a lot of computer work and he does a lot of stuff.
And he's quiet.
Yeah. So we made him his own room, and we don't make him pay rent or nothing like that. And it's just like save your money, and so he can be ready when it's time to move out.
Yeah.
And we talked about what if they don't move out. They're like, fuck it. They don't move out. They don't move out. Fuck it. This house is their house, right?
Yeah.
We bought this house, and and at the end of the day, we feel like this is our forever home, right? I don't want to move to the country. I'm not gonna do all that shit. This is where we're gonna stay, and this is their house at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
if they don't choose to not move out, Tony ended up getting a better job now. He wanted a 9 to 5, so he found a 9 to 5 that's gonna pay him really good. And if Nicky does what he wants to do, and he can start working while he's in college, they'll make good money, and they probably can move out together, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. But if they didn't, fuck it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, like, you don't have to pay rent while you're living at home. Like, just stay here, and it's funny because when you see his bank account, I'm like, fuck, and I joke, I'm like, fuck, why am I buying groceries? But at the end of the day, it's like I'm buying for the house anyways.
Yeah.
So, but my main thing is I want him to save his money, and
Yeah.
I don't want him to struggle.
And that's the difference of another thing, how we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was, no, you're gonna pay this, you're gonna pay me that. So me, I lived with mom and dad with Myra as we were trying to build our life.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you build a fucking life when you're paying all this fucking money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, why are you paying rent at home?
But well, see, that's what I was gonna get at. Where I look at it different, like you said, teach him so he's ready when he goes out there. Isaiah, he does online classes, he works, but I charge him. It's not shit, you know what I mean? But I don't charge him because I need it. I like having that extra, you know what I mean? But I do it because, and it's not going to prepare him 100%. But when you move out, you're going to have to pay something. So at least you already have some money coming out where you have to budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he asks for specific shit from the grocery store. You know what I mean? He gets that fucking what's that soap with the Sasquatch soap? It's like $10. The deodorant's like $17. So I'm like,
yeah.
So every 2 weeks he pitches in an extra $50,
mm-hmm.
which covers his stuff. But like I said, it's not that I need it, but like I said, two different. But I feel like he's got to get used to that for when he moves out to know that all his check is, and there's not going to be no bills.
See, and I think my take on it is, for us, and we'll go along. For us, it was like, when you turn 18, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna pay rent, right? So that was one reason why I left to the military, which I don't regret it, but I didn't want to pay rent.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for school, right? And we couldn't afford it. So I fucking left. I didn't want to put that in their head. You're gonna turn 18, you're gonna work, and I didn't want to run them out of here.
Yeah. Well, I didn't start it till in his 20s.
Right.
I said, I'll give you some time to get your shit together, and you know what I'm saying? And he had a good savings. He had money, and then he lost his job, fucking took a 2-year fucking hiatus, blew through everything. And I paid for everything.
Yeah.
I complained every now and then, but it wasn't like, well, if you ain't got no money, you know what I'm saying? But for me, it came to the point, okay, you're in your 20s. Take some responsibility. We shouldn't have to buy you. And like I buy groceries. Mm-hmm. I don't say, hey, you didn't buy that. But it's like, hey, you want this extra squash?
Yeah.
You're paying for it. I buy the fucking Schwab or Irish Spring.
Yeah, I get that. I get that part of it.
I tell them the extra shit, you pay for it. I get you the basics. Yeah. I buy your shampoo, but it's gonna be Schwab.
$1.99 for sure.
Irish Spring. You know what I mean? So, but I'm the type. I'm like, this motherfucker got more money than me. But like I always told him, I don't need it, but it's just to help him be responsible. I mean, $400 a month, $100 a week. You know what I'm saying? Every 2 weeks, his $50 goes to whatever extra shit. He washes like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he even got it to the other day. There was no washing detergent. He's all, man, well, I pitch in for the garage type shit. Like, motherfucker, well, go buy some. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it runs out.
Sometimes you just have to go get it.
But I don't do it to the point where
it's gonna run him away.
He can't survive himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he was to say, hey, Dad, I paid this, I'm not gonna be like, well, your rent's due,
Yeah, but like he works at Whataburger. Tony was working at Dollar General, and they can't afford to have their own apartment with that kind of job, right? Or if they can, that's all they're gonna afford.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't want him. He was talking about it. He's like, I can afford it because he has a lot of savings, right? And I'm happy for that. And like you said, sometimes like, motherfucker has more money than me right now. But anyway, I'm happy that he's responsible. So if he was irresponsible with his money,
Yeah.
and I could see that.
Well, that was also
You can pay rent because you need to know what paying rent
well,
is.
that's kind of what got it going to begin with. Was he got into shoes?
Yeah.
He was buying $300-400 shoes. I'm like, look, in the same way, like, look, if you were saving like that, I get it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm with you too, man. If he's at the crib, he's at the crib. No big deal. I just, like I tell him, I just don't want, and all the kids, I just don't want a bunch of kids running around my house. If you got a family, you got kids, you need to figure out how to support
That's
your family
for
type
sure.
shit.
Yeah.
But my house is quiet. I hardly even know the kids are freaking there. You know what I mean? So, I'm the same way. I joke about it, but I have a feeling Isaiah's gonna live with us for a long time. Which is fine. You're single. You ain't got no kids. You do your thing. You pay your whatever money. And so it's all good. My father-in-law is the same way too. He's like always telling us, this house is open for everybody.
Yeah.
If anybody needs to make a pit stop, has some troubles, and his big dream is, and man, I didn't realize how much money my in-laws have, but they're pretty loaded. From when I found out, took them to buy a car, they're ready to fucking buy cash like 30,000, whatever. But his thing is, which Myers always like, we don't want that to buy big land and everybody get an acre. Me neither, get an acre, this and that. And I'm like, I don't want to live around everybody. You know what I mean? But he's old school Mexican, you know what I mean? And since he was a kid, that was, one of his dreams, But I'm like, man, just give it the money. Or we don't even need the money, but don't waste your money on buying us any type of land and shit like that. But no, I mean, my kids are welcome, and even if Nene would say, "Hey, Dad, can me and my girl move in with the baby?" I mean, I'm not gonna say no, especially with the baby. But hopefully, they succeed to where they do move out, do their own thing. You know what I mean? Because it'd be cool. I think I look at family. I love family, so I'm like, I can't wait for the day when my boys come and visit me at the house with their families, with their wives, or hey, Dad, let's go out to eat, and get the wives and the kids. Hopefully we'll get to live to see that those type of days. But I love family. I love my boys, and of course there ain't no 18-year contract like I thought there was. 18 and they gone.
I mean, that's what we got threatened with, right?
That's what it was. So as a father, I try to do.
But that was the generation back then,
yeah,
right?
And I try to not be that way with them. I try to be understanding. I try to get that they struggle too. They're trying to get through life, and right now life's fucking chaotic. This world.
Yeah, and the way fucking apartments, you want them if they move out to be in a decent area, right? You don't want them living in hood areas where you don't know cars getting stolen or something like that. So that's close to $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right? And Whataburger, Dollar General ain't cutting that shit.
Nah.
So like I said, he got a decent job now, and he's gonna be making decent money, and if Nikki matches that, then they can probably move out, but it's not gonna be something where, oh, you're making this much now. I think it's time to go. No, you're making this much, shit. You save even more. You know what I mean? And
but fatherhood's fun, man. My youngest is about to be 16. Bea's what?
13.
13. So a little bit closer to, I look back and I'm like, damn, the years goes by quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they, like I said, Stevie B out of high school pretty damn soon. Bea the same way, she'll be out of school, and then we'll see. It'll be over. You know what I mean? As far as taking care of them as children, it never goes away. Even as adults, I'm sure with Chris. I mean, like you expressed with Tony, we still do for him.
Yeah, even Chris out there. Yeah,
we just like you said, maybe it's our circumstances to where, like I would remember we were paying rent at mom and dad's house, and I found out how much their fucking mortgage was. I'm like, fuck, I'm paying fucking more than what the even fucking mortgage was. You know what I mean? So
shit, I'm 45, 46, whatever. So I started driving at 16. What's that? 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I was paying $200 a month for insurance.
Paying everybody's insurance.
That's what I had to pay.
Yeah.
Supposedly, because I was 16, 17, the insurance went up crazy, which I paid it. I worked a lot, and I made okay money back for what it was back then, I guess. But I paid $200 a month insurance, and if I didn't pay that shit, I wasn't driving because supposedly, and I look at it now, I'm like, I was probably paying more than what the insurance was.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
And it didn't go up that much. But anyways, I sometimes I chalk it to that was a generation, boomer generation. Maybe not. Maybe that was just his mentality, and we just it was kind of like let me hold your money for you, and I'll give it to you when you need it. Like probably didn't see none of that
No,
shit,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
And when the kids turn, I think it's 14, we go get them a checking account, and they put their money in there, and they can, if they're working or there right now, I'll throw her little money in her Venmo every now and then, just so she has something.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You just want to be better than
yeah,
what your dad was. Not saying our dad was. Maybe that's how he was raised. You know what I mean? I think there was some qualities that I mean,
no, I'm not saying everything was
no,
bad.
no, no, no. Of course, not. I'm just
I
saying
think he
there's some
gave us a good work ethic. I think
qualities
that's.
as a father that I chose to do
I think
differently.
he gave us, if anything, we had a good work ethic because he worked, and there was times where he got. I remember, we didn't have money because he got laid off or something, but he always found something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then I think maybe that's one thing he did, and that's why I tell the kids, you got to work for what the fuck you got. Like I
yeah,
tell Isaiah, you got bills now, so make sure when you're at work, you're handling business, so they have no reason to fire you, look at you, whatever. Back to we was talking to Isaiah, it reminded me what Myra had said. And 'cause Isaiah, he's a sweet kid, man, and he's a trip. And she had told that he was saving his money and a limit, he's like, okay, I'm spending too much, and when I get to this limit, I feel it's tripped out. But he had said, no, mama, something about chilling on his spending and trying to save. He goes, because I never know if something ever happens, and I need to help you guys pay some bills. You know what I
hmm
mean? So I was like, man, it's a good mentality to have.
yeah,
But their money's their money. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I don't tell them how to spend it. And like I said, I don't need Isaiah's money. And it's not one of those you're gonna pay bills. It's one of those. Well, it is and it isn't. It's like okay, you're 22. You know, if you ever do get on your own, bills are part of life. So you're gonna
yeah,
be used to something coming out. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Not some kids may get into the shock of they get paid and then they're like freaking out because now they got to pay this, they got to pay that. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
just give him a little use. But like I said, he asked for certain shit. Like when the groceries come, he's going and grabbing that, grabbing this, grabbing that, taking it to his room. You
That's
know what I
funny.
mean? If it's not for the community, then you
That's what.
pay for
I
that
was
stuff.
laughing at Nicholas. Yes, we went to Target. I don't get groceries from Target, right? That's not just where you go get groceries.
Hell no.
And I ordered groceries. I think they're probably here pretty soon. But anyways, this fool, he gets the randomest stuff, right, for groceries. But whatever. Went to Target, and then we're paying. I see lemons in the basket. I'm like, who got lemons? I'm like, I did. For what? He said, and we have this. Me and him have this. I guess you would say relationship where we go back and forth
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Challenge
But
each
it's a
other.
funny way. We do it in a funny way. And I said, "Why'd you get lemons?" He said, "Why are you asking if I haven't get? I can't eat lemons." But it was a funny. It wasn't like smart
Yeah, yeah,
ass. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And I said, "You just don't go to Target for lemons." I said, "Who goes to Target for lemons?" And then we start this back and forth. It's funny, but in my head, I'm like, and then last night I said, "Did you eat any lemons?" Not yet. I said, "I want you to eat a lemon for the end of the night."
Or make some damn lemonade or
Yeah,
some shit.
I said, "Damn, like why?" Like, and it was funny, but at the same time, it's like that's Nikki. Like,
Yeah.
get lemons at Target
But
for
at that
what?
age, at that age, they want something, they get it.
But I see what you mean about like you said, we buy the body wash and the soap. But you're right. If you needed a $15 deodorant, because I just recently switched deodorants, right?
Okay. The
Eh,
squash,
Well, I bought one yesterday because I
the
did.
squash kind?
Yeah.
Man, I've been on this shit
So
forever.
I used to get the cheap ass shit,
Yeah.
right? And I guess now that I'm really working out and stuff, my body's still burning calories throughout the day. Not that I smell, but I get sweaty,
Yeah, yeah.
and then this stains my shirts or whatever. So I started looking at this other one. I got this other one. It was, and the ones I used to buy were like two for like 9.99 type shit, right?
What kind? I buy Old Spice. Old Spice work
Degree,
good.
Old Spice. I stopped. I don't know what happened with Old Spice, but I stopped using it. So I went to Degree. It was like a 2-pack for $10 or $9. Like shit, that's a good deal. And it
Yeah.
worked, but then it didn't work.
Yeah.
it wasn't that I smelled, like I said, it was more the sweating part. And I was watching YouTube and they this other brand, so I went to that one. That shit was like $12 for one, and it lasted like a week, 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck? This shit was $13 and it only lasts 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yesterday we're at Target and we saw that squash. It was like $14. Like, fuck it, I'll try it. So we'll see how that
Yes,
goes.
Isaiah buys the.
And I remember you telling me about Isaiah.
But the thing about him pitching in every 2 weeks for the groceries was his idea.
Yeah.
Because one day he went to the grocery store and he was like, "Damn, this is how much y'all pay. Let me start putting." I'm like, "Okay, cool." You know what I mean? So it was never like you're gonna. But I would complain.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like, "What are you getting that for?" You know, he loves tea, so she always gets that big thing of half sweet tea. I'm like, I see you be buying shit, but where's that when I want it?
Oh, that's true. If you're gonna put it in your room and hide it,
Well, he's got a little refrigerator, so I'm like, I was looking for that. Oh, that was Isaiah. So, but now, like, groceries came yesterday. They got delivered. We put them on the counter. He's like, dude. And I'm like, before he used to bug us. Now he's pitching in. But before he used to bug the shit out of me. I'm like, hey, motherfucker, what if I want some Cheeto Puffs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or we'll go to the store and there's like 8 bags of chips. I'm like, what the fuck we need to? Well, the Stevie likes these, and these are for Isaiah. And I'm like, God damn, everybody one day with me $50 just on chips. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck. So, but fatherhood, love it, man. Wouldn't trade it for nothing else. It's made me a changed man. Before I had Isaiah, I was a wild boy, and they calmed me down a lot. I still got a little bit of it in me, don't come out, but made me responsible. It was one of the greatest feelings in the world. Every kid that was born that I have, 4 of them, was and like I tell them, I love them all the same, just different ways. You know what I mean? Because it's different. The love as a father, I love them all the same, but there's something I love about each. Like with Isaiah, his kindness. Like, he couldn't wait to buy me a father's present. He can't wait to buy birthday presents for his brothers. He's a kind kid. Josh, he's fucking work ethic. He's a fucking workaholic. And he's such a sweet kid. I love it. You know what I mean? Nene, he's a clown. He's always joking around, making me laugh. And Stevie, well, he's the baby boy. You know what I mean? So, love them all. Live them all. And at one point, maybe you went through this. At one point, they're each your best friend.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. And that's what, Stevie's your favorite. I told Isaiah and Josh, at one point, Isaiah, you were.
Yeah.
You were the only one.
Yeah.
I said, then when Joshy came, I would get mad because they would say that was my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they grow up. They don't want to hang with you no more. I said, it's your fault.
Yeah.
I don't spoil your ass because you don't want to go with me.
Yeah.
Then I went through it with Nene, and I was always with Nene. Then, with Stevie, he's the last one, and they're all grown, and now he don't really want to hang out with that. But I tell him at one point, y'all were all my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, I remember it's crazy, man. I was looking at the Malibu. Nathan picked it up. He bought the transmission. And he's fixing it up right now. And I was telling Myers, like, man, I remember when all 4 of them kids fit in that back seat.
Yeah.
And then it got to squishing, and then years ago we couldn't afford an SUV, so we're taking 2 cars just to fit the kids. You know what I mean? So, and then we bought this SUV. We're like, all right, cool, everybody fits, perfect, comfortable. And then they got girlfriends. And I'm like, fuck, we're gonna have to get a church van by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah.
But fatherhood, love it, man. I think you're a great father. I've seen your kids the way you grow up. Love your kids, and one thing about me is hard being. I hate that word baby daddy, but not with your kids every day. And one thing I struggled with was always trying to make sure they didn't feel lesser, and that was tough as a dad. And but I just had to realize, can't do it. It can't be the same. And I always knew when they get older, they'd understand. And now that they're older, they understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get it. Dad would get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before it used to be hatred where you weren't here, you weren't there, this, that. And I never told them shit they didn't need to know. I just always tell myself when they grow up to understand. So they get it now. So
that's good.
Happy Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. You know what I mean? See what y'all got. Let's put some. Hey, this is gonna come out on Thursday, so everybody put in what you got, because I know it ain't gonna be doing it like
or what y'all did, or or what you felt like got done for you. I couldn't complain this year because we're going to baseball game, so it was funny. I think I told you about those videos that I was watching, you know, and they're like compare Mother's Day, Father's Day. I guess I can't say anything because you know we're going to the baseball game, but and I think that's a cool present is the baseball
No,
game.
it is. Yeah, for sure. You know, for me, you know, it's always good to feel acknowledged, get gifts,
Yeah,
you know, whatever. But even if you didn't, for me, and I'm sure you're absolutely the same, it's just, you know, just come give me a hug, tell me Happy Father's Day.
yeah,
That's enough for me.
yeah.
Just acknowledge me. You know, it kind of goes real quick. I know we're going a little over. It's all good. Y'all make sure y'all listen to the end. I saw something and it said, "Don't ever stop dating your wife, and don't ever stop flirting with your husband." You know, because it makes you feel good. You know, don't get complacent. And the same way with kids, just like when Josh would call me, FaceTime and show me his church, just little shit like that makes fatherhood all worth it. You
Yeah,
know,
because he's sharing goals, accomplishments with you, and that's a big deal.
you know,
You know that
so
he thought of you. I'm gonna call my dad.
yeah,
That to a father that
means a
means a
lot.
lot. You
You
know
know
what I
what I mean?
mean?
That you thought about me to share this happy moment with
And I
you.
always
You
think
know, with
about
me.
like when, like a Broken Bow, right? I think about that kind of stuff when you sit back and you look, and you know it takes a team. You know, me and Cynthia and you and Myra, like we did this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The kids are swimming, the kids are out there fishing,
yeah. You sit back
and
and
you're like, damn.
I created this.
Or I was able to give them this,
Yeah,
right? At Broken Bow, or when we went to whether you go to Disney or you go even fucking just San Antonio, like
yeah. Or even just an outside
yeah,
barbecue and just seeing
yeah,
everybody get
yeah, yeah.
along.
This
It
is
was
what
yeah,
we did as a father, as a mother,
yeah.
as whatever, as a team. This is it,
You know,
you
we
know.
create. You know, I tell people a lot of times that you know you're the only Acevedo, only other Acevedo I ever knew. But look how many Acevedos we created just out of
Yeah,
me and you. I mean, went from 2 to 10. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
10 now,
Well,
yeah.
11 now with the
With the, yeah,
grandbaby. You know what I mean? Sooner or later, babe, won't be an Acevedo. You know, but we created that shit. It's
yeah.
pretty badass to look back and see that shit. So I agree with you. You know, I do that often. I mean, and I'm big on pictures. People tell me, man, you always got the good. But I sit there and I look a lot at old pictures of them and pictures with the family. You know what I'm saying? And it is good shit, man, to see that what you created. And I've got boys, so I don't know how that's so. It's cool to keep the name going. It was nothing before; it was just me and you, and now it's a bunch of them, you know.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
just gonna create more. Just like when we went to, you know, Grandpa's funeral, you know, I always thought it's cool to see to think about, damn, all these people started from two people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, it comes from the father, you know, like I used to tell the boys, you know, when they used to talk about their mom and their mom and their mom, I'm like, I don't give a fuck who's your mom. Motherfucker, y'all all came from these nuts. You know what I mean? So it's the man y'all have running through you. So no
Yeah,
matter your mom's this mom, y'all
yeah,
came from this.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So fatherhood, love it, man. I love it, man. So I hope you have a good Father's Day. I hope everybody out there just come out Thursday. Today's Father's Day morning. I hope everybody has a good Father's Day today. And
Even though, like you said, sometimes you just want to chill, do nothing, which would have been fine with me. Um, so yeah, just let us know what y'all did for Father's Day. You
yeah,
know, even if it's nothing, like sometimes just sitting at home,
yeah,
just like we said, watching, seeing what you created is just pretty
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I hope, hopefully, when I get home, them pancakes and shit are ready to go. And sit down, watch some TV, see what's going on, and maybe go to the in-laws. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then you go in line, I can. And then when you go in line and they don't know how to use a fucking debit card, and then they don't know shit.
But are they paying for their stuff?
The government probably is.
Oh, how?
You know what I mean? They all get fucking money. They get
Who?
phones. They get housing.
Who
all
does?
These fucking illegal.
How?
Like from Biden.
How?
From the
What are
government.
they getting for free?
Huh?
What are they
getting
getting for?
housing? They're getting
How?
What do you mean
How are they getting housing if nobody knows they're here, like you said?
The government was letting them through. This government that wants them
Who's
out.
getting something?
Come on.
Trust me. Who? This is
When they were coming from New York, they were getting off a bus. They were getting a fucking debit card with $1,600. They were given a cell phone. They kicked veterans out of.
You're talking about people that are at Walmart causing you to be in the line. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people you're talking about right now. The people in your community are not getting debit cards because they're moving.
Because there's so many places that say, "Hey, the government's not going to help you. We'll help you." Come
Who?
over here.
Who's helping them?
cities, government, the government.
What government is helping the people that?
So then, how are they affording it then?
They're fucking working.
Oh hell no.
They're not working.
Maybe they are, but not enough to fucking.
Who's not working?
There. They're getting WIC. They're getting.
Who's getting WIC?
They're fucking illegals.
They can't get WIC.
They are getting it. They are. How much news do you watch?
They're getting TikTok? Okay.
Besides TikTok, what's your news?
Look. They're getting it for their kids that are citizens.
No.
You can't get WIC if you don't have a social security number.
People. They're getting.
You can't get WIC if you don't have it. You can't get food stamps without social security number. You can't get Medicaid.
Well, how are they getting paychecks without social security numbers? How are they filing taxes without social security numbers?
They get ITIN numbers.
Well, then that's probably the same.
They can't get that with ITIN numbers. They can buy a car.
If you don't think they're getting
funded, they can buy a car. They can buy a car. They can buy a house. They can buy certain things with the ITIN number, but they don't have all the benefits that Americans
They got more benefits, better than our veterans.
How?
They get taken. Dude, veterans got kicked out of freaking hotels to house these fucking illegals. We don't even take care of our veterans, and they're taking care. You think they're crossing the border and they got money to go fucking buy a house in Duncanville, Midlothian? You think they cross over the fucking?
Who's buying it?
Huh?
How are they paying for it?
With government assistance.
That's not true.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna pull it all up. We're on the spot, and next week I'm gonna show you.
That's not
because
true.
Besides TikTok, where do you get your news?
I watch news. I look up
what
news. I
look
at articles.
What news?
I look at Google. I look at CNN. I look at Fox News. I look at everything. I don't
When's
do
the last
CNN.
time you looked at Fox News?
This morning.
Because I was Fox looking at news.
No, Fox News this morning.
What are they talking about?
The Trump thing, the
no
parade,
kings.
the parade.
So yeah, they're getting.
I wanted to see what the parade was like, so I went to Fox News. I'm not gonna go to CNN to see what the parade was like.
Why? They're the ones that are talking all the shit about it.
That's what I'm saying. I look at both sides of it, right?
Yeah,
so CNN's gonna talk shit. So I looked at Fox News. So yes, I do look at all avenues of news.
Who do you think's funding all this?
But you know what? I talk to people on the ground too. I talk to people that are everyday people that don't have benefits, that can't get benefits, that work fucking hard. And yeah, they can buy a house and a truck because the government lets them, because they know that they're putting in money to the economy. So there's ways to do it, or they fucking buy cash. You know what I mean? They're buying the cars cash. They're doing what they need to do. They live in apartments or where they need to live. Or the ones that are buying houses is because they give them ways to do it. Why? Because they're putting money to the economy. That's why. That's why I said earlier, it's about having money in the pockets. That's why Trump's saying, well, let me backtrack a little bit and say, because it's affecting my homies that are in the farming industry and my homies that are in the whatever, the hotel industry, whatever it's called. There's a certain word for it. It's affecting them. Let me backtrack a little bit.
And that's a good.
Because yes, they are putting money into the economy.
Yeah.
Whether they're legal or not.
A lot of them sucking money out of the government.
The only way they're getting money out of the economy is if their kids are citizens. That's it. The ones that don't have kids that were born here, they can't get shit.
They're getting it, JJ.
How? Who's giving it to them?
These sanctuary states, they're all about is illegals and helping the illegals before their own freaking people.
They're helping them because you know why? Because they're pumping fucking money into the economy.
Because they want votes. They want votes.
How are they voting? Huh? They can't even vote.
Oh, give me a break. The voting system's all fucked up. When Joe Biden won, there was people that were dead that were voting for him. You think they can't
but they're not supposed to vote.
Exactly,
they're not
but they're being allowed to.
Okay, so millions.
Why do you think they want to pass laws that say you don't need voter ID? Why? So they can get these illegals that they're.
It's true to an extent. The legal community is not gonna. First of all, the legal community is not gonna vote.
Why else would they want to get rid of voter ID if they didn't want illegals to vote?
I don't know the reasons behind that. I don't know the reasons behind that.
Logical
I'll be honest with you that I don't know the reasons behind that.
Because they want illegals to
vote.
vote.
So I can't make an answer to that.
Because they want illegals to vote.
That's not the reason.
Then why else would they say, you don't need an ID?
I don't know.
You need ID to get a library card. You need ID. The other day I went to the bank. My ID was expired. I didn't even know. I couldn't even take money out the bank.
Yeah.
Because my ID was expired. But yet they want, what other reason would be why? You don't need an ID. Why do we need to keep count of who's voting? No, there's one reason.
I can't answer that because I don't know. To be honest,
because
I haven't looked into
it. There's no other logical reason.
But I can tell you, anyways, I can guarantee you that the people that are here legally, unless they have kids that are U.S. citizens, they're not getting nothing from the government. I can guarantee, because I'm talking to these people every day.
I'm seeing it every day on the news.
You're new.